Greetings, my dear viewer. You're on the channel The Price of Cheating. The channel is for those who appreciate traditional family values and condemn adultery. So be sure to subscribe to the channel. Let's get started. I turned to Ryan, my colleague, feeling a mixture of urgency and relief. Hi, I really need to talk about something. Can you have lunch with me? Ryan hesitated, glancing at his crowded desk. Well, I'm not sure, Bill. I have a few things to finish today. I'll cover it, I offered, trying to convey the seriousness of my situation. I could use your advice, buddy. His eyes lit up with a grin. If you're paying, then I'm definitely free. It was a playful exchange, but there was a deep understanding behind it. Ryan was that reliable guy you could always rely on, a true friend in a sea of acquaintances. He knew how to charm ladies and never flaunted it, which made him even more handsome. You could tell stories about him. He was a folk hero of our time. A little dramatic, of course, but you got the gist. How about 12 p.m.? I suggested. Perfect, he replied, a hint of excitement in his voice. As I left, I took a deep breath, feeling a glimmer of hope. Now I had someone to trust who could help me unravel my dilemma. A few hours later, we were sitting in our favorite pub, eating steak pie and chips, and our first pints of the best beer were already half drunk. So, what's on your mind, Bill? Ryan asked, his demeanor showing genuine concern. So, how can I help you? Feeling a little awkward, I took a sip of beer to wash down the treat. I'm a little uneasy, Ryan, I admitted, but we both know that you are very charming with ladies. Don't believe everything you hear, Bill, he said with a modest grin that didn't match his reputation. I'm fine, but I'm still single. You know, I have a decent job and a good car. It certainly helps that your family practically owns half of the county. Actually, it's much less than half, he replied, returning my smile. But it doesn't get in the way. Well, you're right, I agreed. I could use some advice, my friend. I have to talk to someone who is still in the game. But you're married, aren't you? He replied with a teasing twinkle in his eyes. Don't get involved in something you might regret, he warned, his tone becoming serious. Of course, it may seem glamorous to be free and not fixated, but if I had the chance to return home to my beautiful wife every night, I would not hesitate to agree. Rumor has it, Ryan, I replied with a grin, that you have someone special in mind. Come on, Bill, he chuckled, shaking his head. It's not customary to keep secrets here. I just overheard something in the office, I admitted with a slight shrug. Maybe it is, he said, straightening up. These are my affairs and you have your own worries. Please, Bill, don't get involved in an extramarital drama. It never ends well. Actually, Ryan, I said with a sly grin, I don't need advice. Isn't it you? No. Then who are we talking about? We're talking about my wife, I replied, watching his expression change from confusion to surprise. What's the matter? About my wife, I clarified. I only have one. The realization hit him like a lightning bolt, and he leaned back in his chair. So it's your wife. Oh, shit. The gravity of my position strengthened between us, and he put down his knife and fork, suddenly interested in my position. How can I help you, Bill? He asked, his tone changing from casual to serious. You know, I don't even know your wife. I don't know her. She didn't come to the Christmas party. Nodding, I felt sadness creep into my soul. That's right. What can I do for a friend? He asked, leaning forward, and his concern became palpable. I don't approve of cheaters, Bill. Personally, I've never been married, but my brother's wife had an affair and it almost destroyed him. It was hard to watch. I sighed, the weight of my discovery hanging in the air. It wasn't easy for me either, since I found out. What can I do, Bill? He repeated, his sincerity shining. I mean, I know how to handle women, but I don't see how I can help you. Well, there's something you could do, Ryan, I said, and hope lit up in me. Anything, mate, he replied readily. What can I do to help? Taking a deep breath, I hesitated for a moment as the words rolled in my throat. You can stop sleeping with her. His mouth opened, but no words came out, just a faint clicking sound as he processed my request. The silence that hung between us was tense, as I had expected. I sat and watched as Ryan tried to comprehend the enormity of what I had just said, as the consequences sank into his gut like stones. "Are you saying that I should stop seeing her?" he asked, disbelief in his voice. "Yes, please, Ryan," I replied, my tone flat and at the same time filled with despair. "It's simple. Please." "With your wife, right?" Ryan asked, a hint of confusion in his voice. "Yes," I replied, but then added, "I'm only dating one girl at the moment, Bill, namely with Angelina Scott to be precise." Ryan nodded thoughtfully, trying to process the information. "You mean with my wife?" "Angelina Scott," I confirmed, frowning. "Bill Scott is Angelina Scott. We've been married for 25 years. But she never mentioned it," he said, his voice breaking as if he couldn't quite grasp it. "She didn't tell me," I confirmed, trying to keep my tone even. "She told me she was divorcing Bill." Completely disbelieving, Ryan shook his head. "According to her, her husband ran away to another city with some girl." "This is something new," I added. "So you're not going to get a divorce?" Ryan asked, frowning even harder. "Not that I know of, Ryan. In any case, not yet. Unless she was acting behind my back and filed an application without warning me." "So you're still married and together?" he asked, clearly trying to comprehend the situation. "It looks like it is, and we didn't even break up," I admitted, waiting for his reaction. "Currently, we are still living happily together." Ryan's eyes widened in shock. "So you slept together last night? Do you really have an ongoing intimacy with her?" With a sigh, I realized that it would not be easy to explain. "Yes, Ryan. I still have an intimacy with Angelina. But, but," he had an almost comical stutter. "I'm sorry I slept with your girlfriend, Ryan," I finally said, the weight of the confession hanging in the air. "Bill, I'm really sorry about what happened to Angelina," he said, regret and confusion in his tone. We sat eating potato pie and drinking beer, and the atmosphere was heavy with unspoken tension. We comforted each other, although it was obvious that it was harder for Bill. Apparently, he brought up the subject of marriage with Angelina, and she gave him a half-serious consent. It dawned on me that the divorce, which she had never told me about, might be closer than I had imagined. "What should we do, Bill?" asked Ryan, his voice shaking with desperation. "An hour ago, I thought I was in love with her, and now I can't stand the sight of her." "Welcome to the club," I replied with a sarcastic smile. "Maybe we should have some fun with her." "Shall we have some fun? How?" he asked, already intrigued by the prospect. "You set a date for your wedding. She will be so worried about this that she will immediately demand a divorce from me, and I will agree, provided that it is in my favor." "And then what?" Ryan furrowed his brows as he considered the situation. "We're both going to leave her in the end," I said with a grin. "Tell me, do you really think she'll agree to this? With your amazing body and half the county to boot, why would she agree to what I can offer?" "She's going to be desperate for a quick fix," I countered, "and he'll do anything to get it over with." Ryan hesitated. "That means I have to be by her side all the time. I'm not sure I can handle it." "Is it possible to feel sorry for her?" I thought, leaning back in my chair. "She's probably having the best time of her life right now, isn't she?" Ryan nodded, a mixture of admiration and anger flashing across his face. "And he's doing all these incredible things." We exchanged glances, and there was a tacit agreement between us. It was time to turn the situation around and have some fun ourselves. "Absolutely. And what's the catch?" he asked with a playful twinkle in his eyes. "There's no catch if you think so," he mused, stretching out his arms and leaning back in his chair, lost in thought. "At the moment, I need a woman who can create an emotional connection. Of course, I could have an affair with someone like Angelina, the infamous liar, but it's time to find a replacement for her." "What about that new girl from HR?" I suggested casually, as if I hadn't stayed in the office a little longer than usual. "Which one is the blonde or the redhead?" he asked, lifting his spirits and proving that his obsession with Angelina hadn't completely dulled his sense of adventure. "Both," I replied, a sly smile playing on my face. "Both of them? Really?" he exclaimed. His excitement was obvious. "Yes, one for you and one for me. Well, which one of them will attract your attention?" A blonde with curves or a redhead with amazing legs? I teased. I don't care about the little things, he grinned, waving to the bartender to bring another portion. I think it's not bad. Here's to you, I exclaimed, holding my pint of frosty drink high. For what lies ahead? Cheers, Ryan replied, raising his glass. I think I'll take the blonde, if you don't mind. And I'm for the long legs of the redhead, I replied, burning with enthusiasm. I can hardly contain my excitement about the fact that they will be around me soon. Our plan worked brilliantly. As soon as Team proposed to Angelina to marry him, Angelina informed me that she was leaving me all our possessions and savings. This news swaddled his eyes that she gave up everything and threw herself into Ryan's arms. Angelina's joy was not long. After signing the divorce papers, Ryan left Angelina and told her how cruelly we taught her a lesson. The deceiver Angelina was left without a roof over her head and without the means to exist. Ryan tied the knot with a stunning blonde with a character matching her striking appearance, and now she is happily settled in the county, thriving in a new life. And you know what? I'm engaged now. I'm not talking about the one who is famous for her long, inviting legs. It's about her sister. I got rid of the treacherous woman and now I'm finally happy. This concludes the story. If you like it, then put your powerful like and subscribe to the channel.